لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
A devastating flash flood struck the coastal city of Mezitli, located in the southern Turkish province of Mersin, on January 30th, 2026. As heavy rain poured for hours without pause, the city's drainage systems failed to keep up, causing water levels to rise at an alarming rate. Within a matter of minutes, streets turned into rivers, trapping vehicles, flooding buildings, and bringing daily life to a standstill. Residents, shop owners, and motorists were caught off guard by the speed and intensity of the water. What began as a steady rainfall quickly transformed into a severe urban flood crisis. The rainfall that triggered this disaster was part of a larger storm system moving across southern Turkey, bringing extreme precipitation to coastal regions along the Mediterranean. In Mezitli, the rainfall exceeded seasonal norms dramatically, with over 50 millimeters falling in just one day. Meteorologists had issued flood alerts for the region, but the storm's force proved more than local infrastructure could handle. The combination of saturated soil, overflowing creeks, and a continuous downpour led to sudden flash flooding, particularly in low-lying areas of the city. This weather pattern is increasingly common in the Mediterranean basin, where warm sea temperatures and unstable air masses create volatile and dangerous conditions during winter months.
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
Scenes from Mezitli following the flood were shocking. Major roads like Gazi Mustafa Kemal Boulevard disappeared beneath murky water. Cars were either partially submerged or completely swept away. Pedestrians could be seen wading through knee-to-waist-deep floodwaters, struggling to reach safe ground. Businesses and homes on ground floors were inundated, with furniture, appliances, and merchandise floating inside. In residential neighborhoods, water gushed down staircases and flooded underground parking garages. Some apartment residents were forced to evacuate to upper floors or wait for rescue teams to arrive.
Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah.
Local authorities responded quickly to the unfolding emergency. Municipal crews were dispatched with water pumps, emergency vehicles, and rescue equipment. Public warnings were issued urging people to remain indoors and avoid flooded areas, particularly road underpasses and narrow streets where water had collected most deeply. The governor of Mersin stated in a public announcement that, fortunately, no lives had been lost in Mezitli as of that evening, though there were reports of extensive damage to property. Several cemeteries were also affected, with rising water covering burial sites and drawing attention to the vulnerability of community spaces in the face of sudden flooding. The flood also disrupted public services and infrastructure. Bus routes and city transportation were temporarily suspended in several parts of Mezitli. Power outages were reported in limited areas, and some schools and businesses closed due to safety concerns. Emergency services worked overnight to drain floodwater and clear blocked streets. Social media was filled with videos and posts from affected residents, many pleading for assistance or sharing footage of their homes and workplaces underwater. These real-time reports helped authorities pinpoint critical locations in need of support. Beyond Mezitli, the same weather system affected neighboring regions including Adana province, where flash flooding impacted rural areas and farmland. This regional crisis serves as yet another reminder of how climate change and urbanization are increasing the frequency and severity of extreme weather events. Coastal cities like Mezitli, while historically accustomed to winter rains, now face more intense and less predictable conditions. Conditions that test the resilience of aging infrastructure and emergency response systems. Looking ahead, the weather forecast offers little relief. Meteorologists expect continued rainfall across southern Turkey over the coming days, with the potential for more localized flooding in areas already saturated. Residents are being advised to stay vigilant, keep emergency supplies close, and monitor official weather alerts closely. Authorities have emphasized the importance of avoiding travel during peak rain hours and urged citizens to refrain from entering flooded zones, even on foot, due to the risk of waterborne hazards and hidden currents. As cleanup efforts continue, Mezitli's mayor emphasized that this flood should be seen as a wake-up call. In a public address, he stated that while the city is thankful there was no loss of life, the damages reveal a deeper need for investment in modern drainage systems, flood defenses, and climate-adaptive planning. He called for long-term solutions not only for Mezitli, but for all cities facing growing environmental pressures.
Ürkütücü de aynı zamanda. Şöyle. Buradaki köprü ayağı...
Beyond the urban chaos, the flash flood also had a visible impact on Mezitli's surrounding natural areas. Overflowing streams carried mud, trash, and debris into parks, coastal zones, and drainage outlets along the Mediterranean Sea. Local conservationists voiced concern about long-term harm to marine ecosystems, particularly as polluted runoff flowed unchecked into natural waterways. The event once again highlighted how severe weather not only affects infrastructure but can disrupt delicate ecological balances in coastal environments. The flood in Mezitli is not an isolated event. Across the globe, cities from Southeast Asia to North America are witnessing increasingly erratic and violent weather patterns. Experts point to climate change as a driving factor behind the intensification of such storms. This event in southern Turkey adds to the growing list of urban areas unprepared for the scale and speed of weather-related disasters. It underlines the need for international collaboration in sustainable city planning, resilient infrastructure, and real-time crisis management systems. In the aftermath of the flood, the people of Mezitli are left to pick up the pieces, drying their homes, salvaging their belongings, and slowly returning to normal life. But the scars of the storm will not fade quickly. This was not just a natural event. It was a signal that weather systems are changing and that communities around the world must be prepared to face what comes next.